You'll not believe it, I'm actually planning to invest in the stock market. So stay tuned and I'll explain the reason why and which particular stock that I'm planning to buy. So last week, US CPI data was higher than expected again. UK, the Chancellor's been sacked and Liz Truss seems to be having a lot of trouble. So why am I thinking to invest in the stock market? Actually, I am still bearish. So the particular stock that I am going to buy is an inverse ETF. So basically, when the stock market go down, this particular inverse ETF will go up. So it's really a hedge of my portfolio, which when I go to the chart, I'll show you which particular one that I'm planning to buy and which broker that you potentially can buy it with. Our channel is to share technical analysis knowledge to beginners, so hopefully you guys can benefit from the financial market. If this is an interest to you, I would love to invite you to subscribe to our channel. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to start off with the S&P 500. Weekly chart. Last week's price action is a doji bar. To me, it's still looking a bit exhausted. I know it's bearish, but you really need to know sometimes we are way in phase one already. A little bounce is quite normal, especially when the news is so bearish. I'd like to give you a little surprise. Would I like to buy? Yes, I'm potentially continue to be a buyer, but there's certain things that needs to happen. Let's go to a 4-hour chart. You'll see a bit clearer. So that's a level, a soft level around these 3,570 area. I'd like to see it stay above. A little fake out is okay, but I'd rather not. Come back here and then I'll look to be a buyer again up to under the monthly pivot. Then yeah, I'll plan to sell again. So shorter term, potentially I could be a buyer. Longer term, I want to be a seller, which I'll go into it, which ETF that I am actually planning to sell. Moving on to NASDAQ, I know tech is, obviously been more selling than anything else. But again, the weekly chart, you can see we're way in phase one. Okay, we have 1 week of buying, 1 week of buying. So maybe 1 or 2 weeks of buying. So a little bit, a bounce, just a tiny bit of bounce and a sell off again. I don't see this would happen. I don't see this happen. Maybe 1-2 weeks could be 1 or 2 weeks could be. But be really careful that you are really trading the weekly phase two. We are in a bear market. A lot of calls and a recession. So it will be a short-term buy. It won't be a long-term. Longer-term picture, I do want to sell. And NASDAQ, if I wanted to buy a certain level that I am keeping my eyes on that, you can see potentially we are already sitting on a soft level. We could drop a little bit lower to around this 10,600 area. Then I'll look for a rejection or good price action to buy again. Just around this area. Let me just give the monthly pivot. That's where I want to buy it to. Not as high as that, definitely not as high as that. So around the 11,300 area, then yes, I will look to be a seller. I mentioned earlier that I would like to be a buyer on a particular stock. Let me show you. Okay, the stock that I'm potentially going to invest is called QQQS. It's the 3-time daily short ETF for NASDAQ. I'm expecting a pullback back to this area or this area. So first, if that happened around, I think it's 40, yeah, about 46 area, $46, I will buy some. And if it drop lower, I'll buy some more at 37 to get an average in there. I see, the price potentially go up to around this, which is just under 100 area. This chart is not very clean, so we will have to use the NASDAQ chart as a guide if you do invest on that. But this is a leverage product. It's 3 times short leverage. If you're not experienced, I do recommend not to try and do that. But for me, I'm happy to take the risk. I trade leverage every day anyway, not every day, but look into the market every day, and I've been trading this for a long period of time. I know how to protect my risk because, you know, when I buy in at this level, say if I get an average, when price break above here, I will set my stop loss lock in here so I'm not losing anything. Yes, you probably will lose a little bit interest or management fees from buying this ETF, but hey, you know, that's no free lunches in the world. So reward to risk makes sense to me to hedge a portfolio. So this is something that is top of my list to buy. Moving on to the European indices, it's still on my list to short the DAX. I wanted to be a bit, you know, could be a double bottom formation. Going back up to this top channel here around 13,000 area, then yes, I will look for a short opportunity. CAD's quite similar. Let me show you French CAD daily. Yes, I've got a top channel on there. A similar pattern, could be a double bottom. So around this, let me get you the exact price. 6,200 area, then I'll look to be a seller. I see the channel break as well, so we do have a down channel that has a flag in there. So yes, good reward to risk, 6,200 area on the CAD. Moving on to the currency side, we are still seeing the dollar is difficult at the moment. You see, is this a double top? We needed a recharge. We tried to sell on Thursday and then Friday we're buying again. But one thing I do want to point out is the yield curve. And you can see on daily chart, the 2-year yield. Thursday we actually had a buy, so a bit different. You know, we had a sell on dollar. Friday we had a buy on dollar, and we had an inside bar here, similar to the 10-year and the 30-year as well. I think it needs to recharge a little bit on the 2-year yield. So similar thing. I think we need a recharge on the dollar. So I'm not going to chase at this level to buy. I still wanted to have a little bit of retracement to around at least this 1116 area or a little bit lower. But you know, watch out for the monthly pivot area for base. So the euro, I was planning to be a buyer, but you can see two circle. We could run into resistance 98.70, or we could break to 99. So it's not much room for me to take this reversal. Price action certainly is not really helping, so I don't really want to do that. The only pair that potentially I want to be a reversal buyer is the British pound. I know you're probably like, oh my god, why would you want to buy the British pound right now? So much bad news. Look, I'm a technical trader. Price action still looks relatively bullish compared to others. So this is bullish. This is retracement. Yes, we did have a seller bar on Friday, but that's okay. You know, we are trading the weekly downtrend, so it's not going to be as strong momentum, and when you're trading an uptrend, that's okay. I have a area that I marked, which is the monthly pivot around this 110 area. So let's see on 4-hour chart, I can see it make a base or rejection around this area, then I look to take it long, probably to this high, or maybe leave some running to aim for this area. Really depends, but definitely when I take this trade, I will take most of my profit around 114 area, and then I'll leave a little bit running to that area. Okay, so that's top of my list for next week, reversal trading and maybe potentially buying the stock market. Another interesting forex that I want to show is the dollar yen. Yen has been weak, so it now is charging higher. I don't want to chase in this area because I didn't buy it here. So what I want to do is just wait for a good retracement back to the 20 EMAs area, which works quite well. Apart from this spike, that was okay. That's okay. So wait for a little pullback around the 145 area. Then yes, I will look to be a buy of dollar yen, so selling the yens. Another things that you could correlate with is the metal. So look at the gold. Again, we're now under the 1700 area. This is the double bottom. I think we could see a bounce if we see some pullback in the dollar. So maybe look for a rejection around this area again, maybe around here. So under 1740 area. Would I sell it? Probably use it as a reference to sell the Japanese yen. And then when it really come under this again, then maybe I'll look to be a sell of gold. Silver was more bullish than gold, but you can see once it come up to this 2080 area, fake out and then straight back down. Definitely not bullish. We may see a little bounce in this area. We bounce to around this under 20 area, then maybe I will sell, but better to under 18 to sell silver. So use that as a reference to sell the Japanese yen. Okay. Finally, cryptocurrency. Still not bullish, but on the positive side, we had some selling on Friday, like the indices, but the weekend dropped dead. So we are still trading sideways. Very difficult to see. Can we see a pop higher or on Bitcoin? If we do see a bit pullback on indices, we could see that. So maybe around this 23k area, then yes, I might look to be a seller, or I could be like the indices. I will be buying it, potentially buying the inverse Bitcoin ETF. So Bitcoin drop, that inverse ETF go up. So I could look into that. But I probably will trade this rather than buy it. So look for a rejection in this 22,000 area, 3,000 area. But I think Ethereum is a bit cleaner. I've been saying it for weeks. Look, last bit of selling, but we're still ranging. I like to see it come back up to around this lignite area, which is around under 1600. Then I'll look to be a seller. So overall picture, I'm still bearish, but because the sentiment has been bearish for so long, so we could see a little bounce before the bearish momentum continuing. So be mindful of that. If you do have any question, drop me a message. If you're not in our supportive community, drop me a message on YouTube or Instagram if you're watching there. Then I'll add you to our community. Otherwise, see you guys next week. Happy trading, healthy investing. Thank you.